Alright guys, so I tried to look for videos on this subject and I found zero. And since my friend is already doing this and she's getting literally 50% off her rent at her studio apartment, I decided to make a video about this. On top of the 50% off that she gets, she didn't have to get into a lease or make a deposit or get her renter's history or credit history checked. And no, this is not a traditional renter's hack where you have a roommate and you basically split the rent. Although you can still do this with this method and combine both savings. So without no further ado, let's get into it. By the way, if you're not subscribed, I don't know what you're doing. So the way you do this is through a job position that you work 2 to 3 hours a week on, primarily on your own schedule. Let me explain. The job position is called apartment key holder, and sometimes it's followed by a dash janitor or a dash groundskeeper. And the reason is this job is not needed, but it's more of a necessary thing to have because in California, any apartment complex that has more than 16 units has to have someone on payroll that lives at that complex. And I took this research a little bit further and I found out that these property management companies also have job positions in Oregon and Washington, which is north from where I'm at in California. So definitely do your research. I'm pretty sure this applies to a lot of states. So essentially with these property management companies, if they have a bunch of smaller units or complexes, they'll have one manager to basically manage and do showings for multiple properties. But by law, they'll need to have someone on site that lives there, and this is where the key holder position comes in. So being a key holder, the job duties fluctuate by what property management company you work for or what complex you work for, because the needs are going to be different. And I'll jump into it later of what my friend does exactly and what she negotiated and stuff like that. But essentially what you do is you clock in Monday through Friday for about 30 minutes. So you actually do get paid for this. And you just do a round around the complex and you just make sure there are no hazards, the trash is being thrown out, there's no leaks, and that the groundskeeper, if there is any, are doing their job correctly. And on occasion, if you do have any showings, you'll hand over the keys to the property management, and or if there's any lockouts, you'll help with that. But essentially, you're just taking care of the property and you're maintaining the peace at the property and making sure everything is squared away and functioning properly. So I'm not sure if you can negotiate with every property management company, but my friend actually negotiated her rent from $900 to $750 because there is a smaller unit that she has to do a walk around that she gets paid for as well, and that place requires sweeping and vacuuming the stairs because it's a smaller complex. They don't really have their own groundskeeper, but nonetheless she got her rent negotiated down to $750 a month, and this is in Midtown of Sacramento, where rents are like $1,400 for similar apartments as hers. So I actually looked this up on Zillow. The price that she's paying for her apartment is the same price people were paying back in 2013. So she's definitely getting a good deal. And like I said earlier in the video, you could actually probably get a roommate and split that in half, and it could be even cheaper. As well as she didn't have to do a deposit or a lease. They didn't even check her credit history or her renter's history, because I think this is the loophole because you're actually an employee there. It's not like you're actually renting space, so they don't have to do that. As well as half her utilities are covered. She got an on-site parking for free, which is $20 a month. And she has pets allowed, which I hear is pretty expensive for apartments to have. Her rounds typically take her a little bit longer because she has a second property around the block. But essentially, it's about 40 minutes a day, Monday through Friday. And she gets paid minimum wage to do those rounds. So you might be thinking this job is more like a needle in a haystack, but looking at Indeed for apartment key holder positions, I found 3 in my surrounding area. But definitely check them out, look into their job descriptions and stuff like that, because these do fluctuate depending where you go. I actually do have a couple friends that are property managers, and some places have property managers on site and key holders on site. So that's something to think about and research on your behalf. Every place is going to be different. But I hope this video was pretty informative. And if you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section and I'll try to get to them. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.